So for today, we're going to be looking at Arc 3.0. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Hunters first because Warlocks, you guys have been getting a lot of exotics. So we're going to go Hunter, Titan, and Warlock because, again, you guys have been getting a lot. If you guys have asked for specific exotics, don't worry. Those videos will come after the Arc 3.0 videos because I want to make these videos this week. So that way, when next week, when the season launches, you guys have some fashion to go around. And then from there, we'll go back to the exotics that people have been asking for. So let me explain what we're going to be looking at. First of all, we're going to be looking at exotics that are only for the Arc subclass. So for example, Blight Ranger, Shinobu's Vow, Raiden Flux, stuff like that. For example, an exotic that people use a lot with Arc is Liar's Handshake, but unfortunately it is subclass agnostic, which means you can use it with pretty much any subclass. It just works the best with Arc. So Liar's Handshake will not be on the list, but don't worry. I know someone specifically asked for this exotic. I will have it in a future video. So I will be making that video. Don't worry about it. But like I said, we're going to be looking at Blight Ranger, Shinobu's Vow, Raiden Flux, Lucky Raspberry, and then for last, we're going to be looking at Raiju's Harness. Specifically because it's the helmet down. I wanted to do that, and I didn't want to be like, well, it's the best one, because it would have just been Raiden Flux and then anything else would have been whatever, because quite honestly, the Arc exotics are kind of doo-doo butter. So let's look at the first exotic, which is Blight Ranger. So this is Blight Ranger, one of the coolest looking exotics in the game by far. It looks so amazing. The fact that it shaders really well, that is another great thing. It shaders really well. It's really cool because if you guys can see in the mask, you can actually see that it's not just like a visor. You can actually see holes where the eyes would be. You can see the nose. It looks really cool. Again, it shaders really well. Probably one of the more better shader, or one of the better exotics that shaders really well, because again, it shaders really well. You guys can see right now with all of the shaders that I usually show, it looks really good. And this one, the only problematic thing that you're gonna have to like wrap around is it's very fantasy. So a knightly look, something along those lines is going to be really good. Specifically for the first set we have is the Virtuous Grips, the Solstice Vest, the Demian Strides, and the Solstice Cloak. I'm not going to talk too much about the example sets because we do have 5 exotics in this one video, and hopefully it's not too long, but just to give you guys some thoughts. The Seven Sisters I'm specifically using because it has a galaxy look, and for me the helmet has this like really cool effect that just reminds me of space for some reason, and I wanted to showcase that. And I also wanted to have blue in there as well, because as you guys can see from the Virtuous Grips, it does have a glow up there, and I wanted to have a blue glow. So on top of having a space theme with the helmet, I wanted to have a blue glow, which Seven Sisters just caters to all of those things that I wanted. And on top of that, the chest piece and the Virtuous Grips are not the same glows. For example, the chest piece, the glow is completely contingent on the fact that I'm using a subclass, the Arc subclass. If I was using Void, then this wouldn't work at all. So again, this is just a lot of planning that went into it, and I just wanted to make the glows at least match and have some space themes around it. For the next example set, I actually did use this in a video, the first Solstice set video I made. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll put it up right now. I really like that video because a lot of the sets were fire. This is not any different. For the arms, we're using the Neoteric Yacht Grasps. For the chest piece, we're actually using the Solstice chest piece. The boots, we're using the Diamond Sporn Stride, and then for the cloak, we're using the Meridian Constellation Cloak. So like I said, I've already used this set in a previous video, so I won't talk too much about it, but the whole shtick, the whole theme around this set was bandages and like cloth. As you guys can see, the cloak has the cloth around the neck. The arms have the cloth around the arm, and then the chest has cloth around the chest piece and maybe the waist, yeah. So the only pieces that really don't have that is the boots, and even then there is cloth or straps there, so it does make sense. There are other pieces that have better straps, but this is the one that I like the most. But yeah, not going to talk too much about this one because again, I've made a video. If you guys haven't seen it, be more than happy for you to see that video. The next exotic we're going to be looking at is the Shinobu's Vow. This one is, not gonna lie, not my favorite exotic in the game, look wise or the actual exotic effect. I think it's just terrible. You just get an extra skip grenade, which skip grenades are kind of doo-doo butter for me, so Not really my favorite, but I know people will fight me on that. As for how it shaders, unfortunately this exotic doesn't shader in only like 2 spots, which is the orange band on the forearm. That will not change color, so if you are looking to make a look with it, just be aware that the orange does not change color. Other than that, pretty much everything changes color. And yeah, not really much to say about this one. As for the example set, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this one came out pretty cool in such a weird way. So for the helmet, we're using the Quaz Grin, which is one of my favorite helmets for the hunters. It looks really cool. For the chest piece, we're using the Siege Break vest, which I rarely use. The boots, we're using the Psionic Stalker Strides, which I use regularly. And then the mark, we're using the Moonfang X7 cloak. So let me explain a few things. When I went into this, I was thinking, how am I gonna make these arms look good? And unfortunately, Siegebreaker does not cover the arms all the way up top, because you guys can see it is actually clipping through. It would be really cool if it didn't clip, because then it would look really, really good. But I still like this combination nonetheless, considering that the chest piece actually covers some of the waist, a lot of the waist actually, and goes down to the boots, which is kind of what I wanted to do. For the boots, I just wanted something simplistic with some armor on it, nothing too crazy, nothing too big, which is why I'm using the Psionic Stalker. And the cloak specifically because it has the pointy metal pieces at the end. I'm really just that dumb, and I like that part. And then Quaz Grin, I just wanted something orange for the forearms on the arms, because I wanted at least something orange to have. There's orange here too. So nothing too crazy about this one. I really followed rule of cool for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really do like this one, but if I'm being honest, the ornament it has is actually better for fashion, if I'm being quite honest. Shinobu's Val only has one ornament, which is Mantle of Remembrance. I really like it because it's very Cabal themed. It is unfortunate that it's very hard to use for hunters, specifically because hunters don't have a lot of armor that's revolving around Cabal, but you still can make it work, specifically from certain armor sets that we will get into when we look at the example set. Pieces that actually do not shader are going to be in the actual forearm. You can see this blue, almost like burnt metal that actually doesn't change color, and if I remember correctly, the brass actually doesn't change color as well. Other than that, pretty much everything about this will change color. For the actual shaders, it takes shaders really well. Just be aware that, again, the blue on the under of the armor does not change color, and the brass actually doesn't change color either. I'm looking at it right now. Again, I think it shaders really well. I really like that the scales actually change color, which is a big plus for me. And if you combine certain shaders with this one, it actually makes the under armor where the blue burnt color is pretty good, specifically Sato Tribe. As for the armor set itself, obviously we have the Psionic Stalker, which I am using the Psionic Stalker mask. The chest piece, we're using the Steeple Vest, or Steeplechase vest, and for the boots we're using the Interlace Strides, and then for the cloak we're using the Canis Luna cloak. So I went with Steeplechase and Interlace Strides because it just looks, it's honestly just because of the armor. I wanted to have armor on this set because obviously there's armor on the arms, and for me, if it has armor, it'll look Cabal, hopefully. I know the boots are the only piece that don't look Cabal, but I think the chest piece is a fine job. The helmet really lends itself to that because that's why I'm using it, so that way I can nudge people to be like, oh, this is a Cabal themed armor, even though boots and technically the chest piece are actually Fallen themed armor. So this one, I really do like this one because the Psionic Stalker mask makes the new age black armory give off this bone color, which I've never seen. This is like a super off color, and I think that's really cool. So let me know what you guys think about Shinobu's Vow. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the exotic, like, at all, not even fashion or the actual exotic itself. I think it's doo-doo butter. I already said this, but if you guys like it, let me know in the comments below. So the next one is going to be Raiden Flux. This one is pretty funny because Raiden Flux, I've made 2 videos on it. One was the SRL themed video that I made not too long ago right here, and the other is the Siva inspired armor that I made over here. So if you guys want to watch either of those videos, pause the video, watch those. They're really good. I really like them. Specifically for the hunter, there's 2. There is the Siva inspired armor for hunters, and then the Siva inspired armor for Guardians, because I made 2 videos. Pick whichever one you like and just watch the video, and I really appreciate it. Other than that, let's see what I actually did. So for the base look of Raiden Flux, I really like it. Is something I wish I could say. I really don't like it. It's the orange like tubes. I think that's what really ruins it for me personally. And the fact that shadering this is a nightmare, honestly. There is a really good ornament for it, and I will show you. It's literally the next one we talk about. But for the meantime, this is the set that I made for that video, specifically the SRL look. I think it looks really cool. I've made other looks with it as well, but I don't want to show you because it's really just like a difference in what I am already wearing. The difference is I just changed the helmet and the cloak out, which I already explained in the SRL video. So again, gives you more reason to watch that video. As for the example set, hopefully I show you how it's shaded, because obviously the orange tubes is the biggest problem with that set. But as for the ornament, like I said, I'm just using the SRL look, specifically the Couturier mask for the helmet, the Contender grips for the arms, the Pathfinder leg guards for the boots, and the Renegade hood for the cloak. Overall, it's one of my favorite sets. It looks really cool. It looks like something a racer would wear. And let's just stop talking about this because, again, I've already made this look. Let's talk about the first ornament it actually got, and I think personally the best one it got, which is Thundergod. I absolutely love this ornament. It's one of my favorite ornaments in the game. It looks super, super cool, shaders really well. And finally, we're able to actually make it look really, really cool. Not saying it didn't look cool before, but now I can actually revolve it around like Japanese armor, because for me this works the best with Japanese armor. So for the example set, we're going to be looking at, for the helmet, we're going to be looking at the Iron Forerunner mask, one of my favorite masks in the game for the hunters. The Iron Simiki grips, one of my favorite arms for the hunter if you're looking for a Japanese inspired look. The Iron Fellowship strides, which has become one of my favorite boots for Japanese themed armor as well. And then the Legatus cloak, which combined with the Forerunner mask just immediately gives off this vibe of like ancient Asian anything. Like, I really do like it. For the shader, we're using the Iron Fushite. I don't know how to say that. One of my favorite shaders for sure. I mean, probably not my favorite, but it's still really good. And then Gambit Jadestone, which definitely is my favorite shader for green, at least. The reason I decided to go for Gambit Jadestone for the Legatus cloak is because it gave, if I was using the Iron Fushite, whatever it's called, the Iron Fushite shader, then it gives off this really weird color, and I just wanted green for that. Overall, this is like one of my favorite sets that I've made. The boots can be interchanged with another one from the, what is it called? The 801 inspired, or not 801, but it's the Season of the Forge inspired armor from Eververse. I forget what season it was, but you can switch the boots out for that one, and it looks really cool. Actually, probably even better because it looks way more ninja, but this is what I came up with and I really like it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Last but not least, we have the Nano Redo, which is the Siva inspired chest piece. Definitely really cool. I really like this chest piece, but it is unfortunate that it is Siva inspired because we don't have Siva anything in the game. And it's going to be a real hassle for you if you don't have like the interlaced armor from Season of the Splicer or the Legacy Oath anything. It's going to be really rough. So as for how shaders, a lot of red. The red does not change color, so just be aware of that. Other than that, I mean, it's fine. I mean, no, it's not. It's the fact that the red is just so blatant is pretty terrible. For the set, honestly, like I said, I made this video a while ago, so if you guys do want to see it, I have it in the description right now if you guys want to see it, because it is a pretty good video. I really do like it, and I do explain my thought process a lot more in that video. I go through the sets that I would have made and over. It's a really good one. But for the helmet, we're using the Apylos Following Mask from this season. We're using the Interlaced Grips, which is the seasonal armor set, or no, season pass armor set from Season of the Splicer, Legacy Oath Strides from Beyond Light's Raid, and then Iron Forerunner Cloak from Iron Banner. So a lot of these pieces will actually be unobtainable, considering the Interlaced Grips and the Apylos Falling are both from Season Pass armors, and then the Legacy Oath Strides and the Iron Forerunner Cloak should still be attainable even well in the future unless they take out a raid or they sunset the armor. So this one's a little unfortunate, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Next exotic we're going to be looking at is Lucky Raspberry. So I'm going to apologize right now in the beginning because I only made one set for this. I usually make two for an exotic that only has one default look. The reason I made one is because honestly, Lucky Raspberry it suffers from still being in a Destiny 1 look. So I'll explain it further. As you guys can see right now through the shadering, pretty much it shaders pretty well. The only thing that's really annoying is the fact that the buttons on the chest piece will not change color at all. So just be aware of that. You can ignore it, which is what I did for the example set. As for the example set, let's just look into it. I went with a very basic hunter. I went with the contender mask for the helmet, the Vanguard Dare grips for the arms, the Lux Riders for the boots, and for the cloak we're using the Shatter Vault cloak. So let me explain why I didn't make another set for this, specifically because it's stuck in Destiny 1's style, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that I can only make so many of those styles in Destiny 2 without looking the same. As for for example, you can switch out the boots with pretty much a lot of the other ones. It still kind of look the same. For me, I just decided to go with the pieces that I went with because I knew that these were gonna look well together. So as you guys can see on the screen right now, this is how my hunter should be looking. You could do other things. You could do basically the Wildwood strides. You can do something like this with definitely some other arms like this. And to me, because Lucky Raspberry is so generic looking, it's just gonna look the same. Obviously you can do some wild stuff like maybe this one and I don't know, this one. It'll just look weird. Now I'm not trying to cop out and say that it's just terrible looking. It's not terrible looking. It's just personally there's so many things you can do with this exotic that by the end of the day it's just gonna look the same. Like this looks really cool. I actually really do like this, but at the end of the day you're gonna want to avoid pieces that overlap on the chest piece because it's really noticeable. Specifically the Neoteric Kiat, as you guys can see right here, it's a bad clip right there, really bad. And usually don't really care about that, but this is pretty terrible. So I just wanted to explain that real quick because again, I didn't make two sets for this one. I do apologize. I know people usually like to see two, but for Lucky Raspberry's case, it's just the fact that you're just gonna want to combine this with pieces that are very neutral in armor because there's not a lot of armor in Lucky Raspberry, and if you overuse armor, it's just gonna look really weird. So that's like my best advice I could give you. Stick to very low armor pieces, and you should be fine. And last but not least, we have Raiju's harness. This one is unfortunate because when we first saw this, I was excited. It looked cool as fuck, only for us to see that it wasn't that good. Again, I'm not going to talk about what the exotics do because they might change. Hopefully, God, I really fucking hope they change. But as for how it shaders really well. All of it changes color. The glows change color, which is really good. A lot of it is really good looking, thankfully. So as for the first example set, this one's actually pretty cool. I really do like this one. Not my favorite. I think the next one is my favorite. But this one, I went with a more like electronical look. For the helmet, we're using the Siege Break mask specifically because I just like the metallic and like just electrical look of it. The arms, we're using the interlaced grips. Obviously, if I'm making like an electrical cyborg look, these are the arms I'm gonna go with, hands down. It's just one of the best. For the boots, we're using the phenotype plasticity strides because you literally have a fucking Vex boot. I don't know how much more electrical I can get from that. And I also like the glow on the inner thighs. And then for the cloak, we're using the Diamondborn cloak specifically because I didn't want to use the phenotype plasticity cloak, even though that's the one I wanted it to use. Because again, I don't like to use more than one piece in one set. So this is it. I use Carbon Blood for specifically, not the red. Oh, it's only because of the white glow. So if you want, you can use other pieces that have white glows. It's just for me, Carbon Blood was the easiest one because that's the one I remember that has a white glow. So let me know what you guys think. Definitely one of my favorite looks for sure. But the next one I think is legitimately my favorite look from almost all of these sets that I've showed you because it just looks so fucking cool. So again, Raiju's harness. This one though, we're using Xeno Silver, which is a shader I rarely use. For the helmet, we're using the Virtuous Mask because I like the slits for the glow. I think those are cool. The Celestial Grips because I like how the Virtuous Mask has like an actual pointy piece on the top of the head. And then the Celestial Grips also has a pointy bit at one of the sides. For the boots, we're using the Solstice Strides Magnificent because I like the fact that the crotch has plate and the fact that it has glow on the knees. And for the cloak, we are using the Binary Phoenix Cloak. One of my favorite cloaks from the game. I know I say favorite a lot, but it's because I do have a lot of favorites in this game. Specifically, the Binary Phoenix Cloak is so cool because it can be used for a lot of pieces. I've used it to make my chest piece look like it's attached to my actual cloak. And for this one specifically, I just like the fact that it's so small that it fits really well with the chest piece, because I didn't want anything too bulky. I didn't want anything on the chest. For example, a lot of cloaks have the like cloth on the chest piece, and I just don't think that's good for this one. I think the chest piece should be showcased without any cloth impeding it. So that's pretty much it. Let me know, hunters, what you guys are going to be using next season. Hopefully some of these exotics get changed or reworked, because some of them are straight up just useless. And I swear to God, if we don't get a new exotic or anything new to these exotics, I'm gonna hurl myself into the fucking window. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Titans, you guys are up next. You guys do not have 5 exotics. I think you guys only have like 2 or 3 if I remember correctly. But yeah, be safe and I'll see you guys later.